Fact, oh, this happened to me, oh, that happened to my phone. What do they need to know with respect to this? It's usually this great privilege and honor. It means a lot to me. By tuning in to listen and watch this podcast, you have supported me greatly to live out my dreams of creating a platform where people can learn and ultimately help our younger ones to aspire to be great in the future. I'm making a promise to you that I will continue to create content that will interest you and content that will grow our community. It would be greatly appreciated if you can hit the subscribe button. Together, we can achieve this. This is the Chronicles of a Professional with Emmanuel Ohawo. Thank you. Tayo, can you tell me who you are?
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. My name is Tayo. I am a cybersecurity professional with over 15 years of experience in the tech and security space combined. I currently work as a senior security engineer in the tech space. I've held different positions in tech consulting, worked in different industries, including finance, government, insurance, among many others.
Thank you. This has been an interesting topic, and I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm excited that we're talking about it today. So just, talk me through this. When we hear the word cybersecurity, to a layman, what exactly does that mean, and why is that important in today's digital world?
Yes, I know when most people hear the term cybersecurity, they immediately think to movies and somebody trying to maybe hack into something, but the field of cybersecurity is way broader than that. And cybersecurity at a very high level deals with the protection of data, infrastructure, systems, and networks of any given organization or any given entity. So everything that has to do with protecting an organization's digital assets.
And that also applies to individuals as well.
Correct.
My cell phone, my laptops, and all of those things.
Correct.
Interesting. I know you made mention of 15 years experience. I know that just didn't happen overnight. Can you talk me through your journey in becoming a cybersecurity expert?
So if I go way back, and I think I've always had a passion for technology and computers in general, and that led me to study computer science as an undergraduate degree, basically. And this was back in Nigeria, in Bowen University, where I did 4 years undergrad of computer science. And from there, moved to Canada not long after and got into my first technical role. And since then, it's been building upon that initial foundation of having a degree in computer science, obtaining certifications, just improving yourself at every given point in time or at every given stage. And I would say probably 5-6 years ago, I found myself in roles that had a combination of infrastructure, network, and some security components to it. And I found myself really drawn to the security aspect of things. And over time, I decided to specialize in security as its own specialization within technology as a whole. And currently now, my role is specifically around identity and access management. And that basically involves ensuring that people who are authorized to access certain resources are the people who are actually accessing those resources, and things like that in general.
Oh, great. I know you talked about identity access management as sort of an area within the cybersecurity space or the security space in general. talk to me about the identity access management. I know you made mention of, it's about, what you have, what you know, and who you are. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to kind of, mention some things about that. But, just talk to me about the identity access management and why that is crucial within the cybersecurity space.
Okay, so just at a very high level, we have two main terms when we talk about identity and access management, and that is authentication and authorization. So authentication has to do with making sure that you are who you say you are. So you think about, okay, you want to access a system, you put in your username and your password, and it says, okay, we've confirmed that you are who you are. So think about it, that is very, very important, because if you choose to, let's say you want to protect a building, for example, you put up fences, gates, and everything that to protect that building, but you just allow anyone inside without verifying their identity. Then that whole, whatever security structure you have put in place is just completely meaningless. So it's very important to be able to identify people and be sure that they are definitely who they say they are. Now, when you come to think about authorization, is okay, now we know who you are. Now, what are you allowed access to? Think about it. If everyone in a company had access to all the data, so regardless of if you are the CEO or you are just a new hire on day one, you have access to the same data, then that is definitely not ideal. You want to be able to grant access to specific sets of people depending on who they are. Think about this as well. Your banking, all of us have banking apps on our mobile phones. When you log into your account, you want to be sure that you're logging into your own account and you're not able to access someone else's account, or someone else is not able to access your own account. So it's about two things: knowing, being able to identify somebody, which is authentication, and making sure that they have access to only what they are supposed to have access to, authorization.
Excellent. And I, just for the benefit of my subscribers out there and viewers watching this podcast, I would like to know from the general perspective, if people, you made mention of the corporate side, which is networks. I would like to understand the side of individuals. I have my phone, I have my laptop, and Mary, James, John, Bola, Chichi, and Emeka listening. Why should they worry? Like, why should they worry? What do they need to know? Oftentimes people complain, oh, I'm hacked. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, that happened to my phone, this app, my that app. What do they need to know with respect to this?
So I would say in a lot of scenarios where there's maybe a hack or a breach, or there's some sort of data or information stolen, it's usually due to compromised credentials or insufficient access controls for authentication and authorization being put in place. So maybe somebody's using a weak password that is easily guessable. Maybe it's their name, or it's their name 123, something that an attacker could easily guess. So you want to make sure that first, as at a very basic level, that you have strong authentication on all your personal apps. So if it's social media, if it's your banking, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have strong authentication. And that's, at a basic level, it's a strong password. And also, very, very important is to have multi-factor authentication. Because in most cases, a lot of people, which we shouldn't do, a lot of people reuse passwords. So even if you have your password in one system and then you use it in another system, that also increases the chance of, if that system itself is compromised, then an attacker has access to the password that you used in various other systems. So as much as possible, you want, while it is difficult, you want to try to not reuse your password in different systems. And if you ever do, even regardless of if you do or not, you want to have an additional authentication method, a second factor, which can be either like SMS, email verification. Some of these are less secure than others, but you want to have something that is only you have access to be able to confirm your identity.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, drawing from what you mentioned, multi-factor authentication, maybe you want to talk more on that, just so they understand what exactly that means.
Okay. So when you think about authentication, you can have different types of authentication methods. You can have something which is a PIN or like a password or a passphrase. That's something you know. Something you have can be maybe a security key or like even your phone or something you have. So a code will be more okay. So yeah, a security key that generates a code. That's something that you have. Or it can be something that you are, and that becomes biometrics, or that is biometrics. So think about a fingerprint, Face ID, things like that. So in terms of security, the more secure ones, the least secure is something that you know. Because something that you know, you can type it in and then someone else from somewhere else can grab access to it or have access to it and then use that thing on your behalf. But if it's something that you have physically with you, it is more, that person has to get access to that thing or be in physical possession of that thing before they are able to use it. So that is more secure. But now think about something that you are, biometrics. So unless they have your finger or your face, then they are not able to access that whatever you're trying to protect. So you want preferably something you have or something that you are as a second factor in addition to something that you know, like a password.
Wow, that's excellent. So basically, it's advisable that even though the basic thing is for you to have your password to access your phone or access any application, it's advisable to go for two-factor authentication. I know the names are used interchangeably, two-factor, multi-factor, correct me if I'm wrong, which means even though I've used my password, I would also require to sort of, get to a second layer whereby maybe a code is sent to me or however that happens, maybe biometrics or a code is sent to me through my email or through SMS, then I'll have to enter a code as a second layer of authentication to be able to secure that access. So I think in recent times, people started experiencing in WhatsApp groups where, you would just see somebody that is not part of the group jumping in and trying to hijack things. And, people were advised to set up, two-factor authentication. I think that's advisable. So is there any other thing they need to know or do, especially with respect to this WhatsApp group of a thing or phone or laptop or any of those things, just as we...
Yeah, and I think it's important to, as this is just general like security awareness, like a lot of people see, like someone sends you a link, the first thing you do is click on it. Like you've not verified who it is. You've not, like, people are sending links every day and people are just clicking. So I think it's very important to verify who. Maybe you see an email, you're not exactly sure, it looks suspicious. Don't click on links. Try to verify through another means if you're not sure if there's someone actually sent you something. Like if you have their phone number, call them and say, oh, did you actually send me this? This person is asking me to click this link to view something. Like, it looks like your email, but I'm not sure. Like, so just verify take additional steps to verify things that get sent to you before you click on them. And yeah, I think that is it's very important because the attackers are getting very, very smart these days, and they will create fake websites that look like maybe your banking website, that look like your social media websites that you would log into normally. And then you go in there, you type in your credentials, and not knowing that, hey, you are actually typing it into the attacker's fake website, and they just harvest your credentials that way. and log into the real system on your behalf. So it's very important to take extra care when going to when clicking links in either in emails or in messages and things like that.
Excellent. So I know things like it doesn't come without challenges, right? You talked about your years of experience in the world of security and cybersecurity as well. Talk to me, what are the challenges that you experienced within your journey of becoming a cybersecurity expert?
So, like when I did start, like in the tech field as a whole, like the jobs I wanted, like the high paying jobs, the jobs that looked very attractive, like to start out, I wasn't qualified for them. Like I did not have the experience, I did not have the certifications, I didn't have any of that. And I think it's important to understand that everyone needs to start from somewhere. Like
Absolutely.
have a goal of where you want to be, and take a current assessment of where you are, and think, okay, what do I need to get from point A to point B? And one of the challenges I found was that a lot of the cybersecurity roles, they may call it an entry level role, but it requires, you see some of them say 3 to 5 years of experience, and you think to yourself, okay, that doesn't make sense. How can I have 3 to 5 years of experience when I'm just starting out? But a lot of organizations, they view cybersecurity as a specialization of just information technology. So when they say 3 to 5 years of experience, they expect you to have maybe done something else in maybe networks, maybe in IT, servers, cloud computing, software engineering, something else that you have done that shows that you have a basic understanding and foundation in technology for you to then move up into a cybersecurity specialization to then start protecting things. So one of the challenges I found is I had to basically prove that I had that basic foundation and basic knowledge of the tech space before I could then move into cybersecurity roles. And I think a lot of people will find that this is also the case for them. This is not to say that people do not just go maybe straight out of school and move straight into their cybersecurity role. That happens a lot as well. But you find that most people end up transitioning from maybe a more general tech role or a different role within technology, and then go into a specialization of cybersecurity.
Interesting. So a lot of like cybersecurity is sort of hot in the industry right now. Pretty much everybody wants to be a cybersecurity expert or professional, want to go into the field of cybersecurity. What message do you have for these people aspiring?
So I would say, for anyone looking to go into cybersecurity, the field is one of the most dynamic fields. Like even with all my years of experience, I am still learning, evolving every day, because the field changes so much that you always have to keep up to date. So what I would advise is that you have to develop like a habit, a culture of always learning, always trying to improve, and always trying to add to whatever knowledge you already have. Because if you think that you learn something, let's say you take a course like a certification, and you feel like, okay, I have that certification, and that's it, you'll be in for a tough surprise, because the field evolves, changes a lot, and it takes a lot of hard work to get to a point where you can say, hey, you've arrived. I don't think you can ever even say that you have arrived. It's more of, okay, you are in this state of constantly learning. And I think once you adopt that mindset, sky's the limit.
Interesting. So you made mention of certification. It's more like a follow-up question. So for someone at the entry level, few years of experience in the tech space, and someone at the top level, what kind of certifications would you recommend for them?
Yes.
At least the entry first.
Yeah, so starting from the entry level, the common certifications are, you have, I think Security Plus is one of the like entry level certifications for security, and it basically, it kind of just tells you, gives you a general overview, or tests for a general overview of your knowledge of, okay, how do you secure servers, how do you secure personal devices, how do you secure networks, just at a very fundamental level. And this, it's also good for a lot of employers look for these type of things to say, okay, let's say everybody has their degree, or everybody has their like 1 year of experience.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, that's
exactly
what separates you from the crowd.
Exactly. And you find, I'll say maybe for later on professionals, they start to maybe rely less on certifications and more on experience. But for that initial level, a certification is a way to really show that, okay, I'm ready to put in the work, and I also have that additional knowledge. I like, even for myself, I took like A+, I took a bunch of Cisco certifications and the likes. And for later stage professionals, you have like things like CISSP, which is a Certified Information System Security Professional, I believe. Mm-hmm. And that one even requires you to have 5 years of experience to be able to obtain the certification, and that your experience is actually verified. Like they go through a verification process. And yeah, so those are, I would say, the two main ones. And you have other, like, I'll say vendor, I'll call them vendor specific. Like maybe you have maybe a Microsoft product, or like, let's say a cloud product for Amazon. Then they have their own security specializations, where you can take security certifications in those specific tools or those specific technologies. But those, I'll say that is more for maybe you're already in a role and you're already specialized, and then you just want to delve deeper. Because even within, we call cybersecurity a specialization. Even within cybersecurity, there are specializations within the specialization.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so here's the big one. I know everybody asks this question: what's in for me? So, how rewarding is cybersecurity?
For me personally, it's been so rewarding that I can't even, like, you know, when you think back and like, could I have done something else? I can't imagine myself actually having done anything else. This, like, I feel like it is what I am meant to do. And like, when you go to work and you find your work enjoyable, you find your work fulfilling, I think that's one of the best things that one can hope for. And I'm very grateful that I am working in a field where it doesn't feel like work to me. It just feels like I'm having fun, I'm having a good time. And I think that is really important.
Excellent. Is there anything that you would like to share that I haven't asked you, that you think would be good to share to our viewers and our listeners, especially those who first would like to protect their devices from hackers, attackers, and those aspiring to get into the field of cybersecurity? Yes.
I'll just say, maybe to round up, is probably just for people looking to come into the field of cybersecurity. I think I mentioned this before, but it is hard work, requires dedication, but it is a very fulfilling career path. And if you put in the work, put in the effort, you will see. It's one of those fields where the demand for it is, as you mentioned already, is high. So if you put in the work, put in the effort, you will see the fruits of your labor, so to speak. And I think in general, for people who want to protect themselves, like protect their personal devices,
Because that's what my viewers would like
would
to know.
like to know.
Everybody
Yes.
wants to know, am I safe from being attacked?
So here's the thing. in most cases, when people, the way attackers get people to click on malicious links or download malicious things is promise of giving them free things. So whenever someone says, "Oh, download this thing and you get this free laptop," like you have to watch it. You have to think twice. Like, okay, what have I done that somebody randomly, I don't know, on the internet will say, "Give me a free." Exactly. So think about it twice. Like anything that seems too good to be true is likely not true.
Exactly. Yeah, and those things can attract and infest your devices and. The rest
exactly.
Okay, so just before we get to our game, what are the different specialty areas within cybersecurity? You made mention that it is broad, that there are specialties within the cybersecurity area. It's big. What are those specialty areas?
Okay, so I think I mentioned like my own specialization, which is identity and access management. We already know that. Then you have things like people who define like governance, risk, and compliance. People who define policies, who ensure that the organization is in compliance with like industry standards, like and industry certification requirements, like let's say PCI, SOC 2, and things like that. And then you have also things like product security. Let's say you're developing a software, or like let's say the social media apps that we have on our phone, like Facebook, Instagram. They are people who make sure that those apps themselves are secure. You have them as product security engineers. So the list goes on. You have people who specialize in cloud security. Like we have everything. People say everything's in the cloud now. We have engineers, security engineers, who are specifically dedicated to just ensuring that the cloud environment is safe. So this is just I've just mentioned a few. You can keep going. You have data security, people who ensure that data is protected the right way, like confidential data is not shared with people who should not have access to it. So the list goes on. And honestly, I feel like the first step is to just get into the field of cybersecurity. And then from there, because when I started in cybersecurity, I did not know that I would end up in identity and access management. It was basically from just getting into the field, then I discovered other specializations that piqued my interest, and then delved into those. So I think it's the same for everybody. Just get into there, and then you discover new and evolving specializations that will be interesting, that you can definitely further specialize in.
Excellent. So in the Chronicles of a Professional, we have a game that we'll play, and that's next for us. Are you ready for the game?
Ready, yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to walk you through the rule of the game, and then we can start. We have these 3 cups, and they each contain a question.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you this ball. You're going to roll the ball. If you hit any of the cups, the question in the cup is what you're going to answer. Are you ready?
Ready.
Let's do it, man.
Okay. All right.
There you go. So this means that any network that you manage, no attacker can get in.
You just
got it on first try. So okay, so let's look at what you have. The first question here is, what do you think of artificial intelligence, AI?
So personally, I think artificial intelligence is great, in the sense that just think about it. You've trained a system to be able to do things that 10, 15 years ago were even unimaginable. So I think it's here to stay. I think that's the first thing. It is here to stay, and it can be used, if used correctly. It can be used to help us basically help improve how we work or how we operate, how we find information. Because think about it, if I need to find, let's say, the closest, let's say, barber for a haircut, I'll go on Google normally, type it in, and then start looking for reviews and things like that. But if I could ask, and somebody will go and do that for me, all that work, I just present me with the answer. That saves me time and saves me effort. Now, I won't lie that there are no risks to say, okay, people worry about, okay, is AI coming to take over my job and whatnot.
That's the big one.
Truth is, I don't know is the answer. And will some jobs be lost to AI? Probably. But I feel like what is going to happen is jobs will probably evolve. The types of jobs will evolve. You have some jobs that AI will do, and then you have some jobs that people will use AI to do better. Exactly. So I think that's probably where we're headed. I don't know how soon. It's still like AI is still relatively new and it's still being improved upon. So we're probably we'll start seeing the effects, but I think we're still a few years away from it being broadly used to the point where it's visibly taking over jobs.
Interesting. Okay, so who is Tayo's role model? Who do you look up to?
So this is an interesting one, because for me, I treat role models in I have two categories of role models. Let's put it that way. I have role models, like if I'm trying to, let's say I'm at a stage in my, let's say, professional development, and I'm looking to go to the next level. My role model for that point in time is going to be somebody who is already where I want to be. So my role model in the professional sense basically changes every few years to somebody who is in a position where I want to be, more or less. And some of them may know that they are my role models, but some of them may just think that, oh, this is just somebody I chat with, but I basically pull information from them, get advice from them from time to time. And some of them are even people that I do not know personally one-on-one, but maybe I follow a podcast that they have, or I follow somewhere where they disseminate information.
Did you subscribe to a podcast?
Oh, definitely I did. Okay. Definitely. Now, the second is people who I consider maybe lifelong mentors. And for me, or role models, I'll say, for me, I think my mom is actually my role model. I've seen her overcome challenges that seem almost impossible to overcome, but her tenacity, hard work, dedication, and the way she navigates when there's an issue, the way she breaks things down, navigates, I think even growing up, that has taught me a lot. And I still kind of look to that when I'm about to make important decisions, when I'm about to take one step or the other. I still look to my mom as, hey, what would my mom think or do in this specific scenario? Because my mom also has had a wonderful career professionally. And yeah, I think that has really helped me along the way.
Yeah, so I will come back to that question. And who is your role model from the professional side?
From the professional side, okay. So now,
too many of them.
Oh, there are. And here's the thing: I feel like I've had role models over the years, and I would not want to mention any names specifically to not leave.
There are a lot of them.
To not leave out some and others. So, but I feel like, honestly, if I say they were less than 10, I would be lying. I would be lying.
That's okay. So the final question: if there is one thing you have the power to change on earth, what would that be?
See, that is a heavy question. I think, to change one thing, it's difficult to pick one thing, but I would say probably that no child should ever go hungry, is what I'll say.
I like that. On this note, Mr. Tayo Oloyede, I would like to thank you for making our time to be here. We appreciate it. Thank you.